If you really want to add some excitement to your presentation, try adding some animations. PowerPoint has a wide variety of animation effects that you can apply to text and objects. I'm creating a Trivia Night slideshow. I want to add animations to this shape and to the answer itself. Start by clicking on an object, and then go to the Animations tab. Click the drop-down arrow to view the different types of effects that are available. There are 4 different categories: entrance, which will happen when the object first appears on the slide; emphasis, which will happen while the object is on the slide; exit, which causes the object to disappear; and motion paths, which move the object along a path. I'm going to choose Fly In, which is an entrance effect. For some effects, you will have effect options. For example, this one lets you choose a direction. Let's say I want to add a second effect to this shape. If I go to this menu and select one, it's going to replace the entrance effect. Instead, I'll go to Add Animation to add more than one. It's easy to keep track of which objects have animations because they will have numbers next to them, one for each effect, and the slide will also have this little star picture. If you want to preview the effects, you can just click the Preview command. I like the effects on the banner, and when the answer is revealed, I want the text to fly in the same way. So I'm going to apply the same effects here. Instead of adding them one by one, I can just use the Animation Painter to copy them. Click on the object that has the effects. Then click Animation Painter. The cursor will have this little paintbrush on it. And when you click on the other object, it will now have the same effects. Now that I've chosen effects for both of these objects, I'm going to move this so that the text flies onto the banner. We have several effects on this slide, so now would be a good time to open the animation pane to help us manage them. It appears on the right, and it lets you do a couple of things. You can click and drag the effects to reorder them, and you can also click these drop-down arrows to see more options for each effect. By default, each effect starts when you click the mouse, but I don't want to have to click the mouse for every single one. Instead, we can have the effect start automatically at the same time as the previous effect, or after the previous effect ends, and that's what I want. So I'm going to do the same thing for the text box entrance effect. This just makes the animations flow more smoothly, since they're being triggered automatically. If you click on the drop-down arrow again and go to Effect Options, you'll have a dialog box where you can fine-tune the animation. These options will vary depending on which effect it is. And you can also adjust the timing. I'm going to add a few seconds of delay to give people a little more time to think of the answer before it appears. For this animation, we also have the option of the text flying in all at once, one word at a time, or one letter at a time. I want to add a little bit of flair here, so I'm going to have the letters fly in one at a time. Now I'm going to play the slideshow so I can view the finished product. I'll just click the mouse to trigger the first effect. This presentation also includes some other animations I added earlier, like this ticking clock to show the audience how much time they have left to think of the answer. After a few seconds, it will trigger the next effect. And then the next one. And the text will stay on the screen until I click the mouse again. Adding a few animations can turn a simple slideshow into a presentation that's engaging and fun for your audience to watch. SlideMaster View is a special feature in PowerPoint that allows you to modify all the slides in your presentation by only making changes to one main slide, the slide master. This can be a great time saver because you can make changes to your entire presentation without having to edit each slide individually. Right now, I'm working on a presentation for a pasta company, and I'd like to add their logo to every slide. Manually adding the image to each slide would not only be time-consuming, but it would also be harder to get the image aligned the exact same way on each slide. The Slide Master is going to make this a lot easier. I'll start by going to the View tab, and then clicking the Slide Master command. The Slide Master view may look a little different from the other views you've used, but don't worry, it's not hard to use. A pane will open on the left. Scroll to the top. Here we have the Slide Master, and beneath it are the layout slides. Let's try inserting our logo. Select the Slide Master. You can insert a shape or picture here just like you normally would. Just go to the Insert tab and click the Pictures command. Select your image, and then click Insert. Then just move or resize the picture if you need to. Now this image is going to be in the same location on every slide. While I'm here, I think I'd also like to give the title a new font, so it stands out a little bit from the rest of the text on the slide. I can edit the title font for each slide by selecting the text here, and then just choosing a new font like I normally would. Let's close the Slide Master view for a second and see how our image looks on the other slides. Well, the logo looks good, and it's in the upper left corner on each slide. But it looks like we've got two problems here. On my title slide, the logo doesn't show up at all. Also, this shape is covering the logo on some of the slides. And on others, it's too far down. It's okay though, we can fix all of these things by going back to the Slide Master view. Let's start with the slide where our logo isn't showing up. Beneath the master slide are the layout slides. Each of these represents one of the possible layouts we can use in this presentation. The first slide is the title slide layout. When we hover over it, we can see which slides in the presentation are using this layout. Select it, and now any changes we make here will be reflected on slide 1. So why didn't our logo show up on this slide? Well, with some layouts, the background graphics may be hidden. To show the graphics, all we need to do is uncheck the Hide Background Graphics box here. And our logo has reappeared, along with the other background graphics. Now let's fix the shape that's covering our logo. Most of our slides aren't using any of these layouts, so we won't bother with those. But here we can see that several of our slides are using this layout, so this is the one we want to make changes to. Just select it, and I'm just going to move the shape down a little. If you want, you can also move, resize, or delete any of the placeholders in this view. I'm going to move this placeholder a little bit so it's aligned with the arrow. And then I'm just going to resize this placeholder. Then just adjust any of the other layout slides if you need to. Let's try editing another layout slide. The title and caption layout isn't being used in my presentation yet, but I'd like to customize it to create a new layout that I can use. I think I'd like to add a bold color block behind the title text to make it really stand out. I'll start by going to the Insert tab, then selecting the Shapes command, and then just drawing my shape right across the text here. Then, to make the text visible again, I'll right-click and select Send to Back. To make the title a little easier to read, I'm going to make it white. And since we have a lot of red on this slide now, I'm going to delete this shape by selecting it and pressing Delete on my keyboard. Now let's find the layout we just edited. Click Close Master View. If I click the drop-down arrow on the New Slide command, we can see the layout here. Just click to select it. Once you've got everything the way you want it, you may want to use the layouts in other projects. To do this, you'll need to save the theme. Just go to the Design tab, click the drop-down arrow in the Themes group, and click Save Current Theme. Then, just give your theme a name and save it. Now you can select this theme whenever you want to use these layouts. I'm working on a presentation for an advertising company, and right now I'm using the Berlin theme. The built-in themes look really good, and they're a great starting point, but it's even better if you can customize them so that they're unique to your company or your project. We'll start by going to the Design tab. Here on the right, you have the option of choosing a theme variant. Just mouse over the options for a preview. Variants are different versions of the theme you're currently using. They let you quickly change your color scheme and some style elements without giving up the overall look of the design. If you'd like to customize the look even further, click the drop-down arrow here. Let's try some new colors. The marquee colors look good, and you can see that they've changed the background colors and font colors and just about everything else, but the layout has stayed the same. Sometimes, you may not like every color in a set of theme colors. Fortunately, it's easy to change one or more particular colors to suit your needs. Go back to the Colors menu, and then go to Customize Colors. Here, we could pick all new theme colors, but I'm just going to change a couple of them. I think I'm going to go with a purple color. And when you're done, you can just give the theme colors a name, and then save them. The fonts work basically the same way as colors. You can choose from the built-in theme fonts, or you can create new theme fonts. And it's up to you whether you want your fonts to have a lot of contrast, or if you want them to be similar. I like to have some contrast, so they'll really stand out. Then just give the theme fonts a name and save them. You can also change the theme effects. I think the inset effect adds a nice touch to this. And finally, every theme is going to have an assortment of background styles that you can choose from. Once you have everything exactly how you want it, you may want to save the theme. Just click the drop-down arrow to open up the Themes menu, and then click Save Current Theme. Type a name for your theme, and then save it. You have just created your very own theme, and now you can use it in other presentations, and you'll even be able to access the theme from Word and Excel. So if you're giving a presentation, you could create handouts in Word with some tables and charts from Excel, and everything would match the style of your PowerPoint presentation.
Have you ever seen a presentation that had special effects between each slide? Then you've probably seen transitions in action. A transition can be as simple as fading from one slide to the next, or it can be a lot more flashy, like this animation of a bird. You can create all kinds of effects using the options on the Transitions tab. Start by selecting one of your slides, then click the arrow here to view all of your choices at once. Transitions are divided into 3 different categories depending on the type of effect they have. The first category is Subtle, followed by Exciting, where you'll find more complex animations. And finally, there's Dynamic Content, which will affect only the content on your slides. This might include text and images, for example, but not necessarily the background. To play a transition again, all you have to do is click the Preview command on the ribbon or the tiny star that appears next to the slide. If you change your mind, you can easily remove the transition by going back to the menu and choosing None in the top left corner. I happen to like this transition, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. I would like to play with the timing, though, and some of the other options over here on the right. Let's take a closer look. The duration field lets you decide how long the transition is going to take. So in this example, if we change the length from 2 seconds to 1 second, it'll cut the time in half and the transition will happen a lot faster. You can even add a sound to the transition using the drop-down menu here. There are quite a few built-in sound effects to choose from. Just click the one you want, and you'll hear what it sounds like the next time you play or preview your presentation. Before we do that, there's one more thing I'd like to show you in the timing group, the options under Advanced Slide. Here you can set your slides to advance automatically without you having to click your mouse. This is primarily used for presentations that are going to be left unattended, for example, in the background at a special event or at a trade show booth. To set your current slide to advance automatically, uncheck the box next to On Mouse Click. Then check the box next to After. In the After field, enter the amount of time you want the slide to be displayed. In this example, we'll set it to advance automatically after 1 minute and 15 seconds. At this point, you can select another slide and repeat the process until your slides have the timings you want. Or you can use the Apply to All command if you want your presentation to be completely uniform. This will take all the settings you see here, including the timings and the transition itself, and apply them to every slide. Why don't we go back to the previous slide and check out what we just put together in full slideshow view. Fantastic! I think I'll apply the same effect to some of my other slides later. The best way to learn about transitions is to practice, so try something new with your own presentation and have fun.